So it's been about a week since we got to play the Broken Arrow demo. Slytherin held a Q&A with Felix from Steel Balalaika, the development studio behind Broken Arrow, and here's a recap of the entire discussion. Now, following all the feedback, Felix said that at first he felt quite stressed since this was honestly the first time we had a public demo of this game. Content creators such as me did play around with the game in the multiplayer a couple months before this demo, but overall, the response from everyone that played this demo was very positive. Looking at the numbers, there were more than 150,000 downloads, which is kinda crazy. Now, Felix mentioned that there was a ton of feedback from thousands of people, and the first and foremost important feedback is that people are generally positive about the game, with 80 to 95% of the players saying that they would buy this game at launch, and only 5% saying that they were not really interested in this game. So it's quite amazing to see that 80 to 95% of the testers were positive and would invest in a project like this. Felix also mentioned that there were a lot of comments on the relatively poor stability and performance of the game at first, and this will be a huge focus going forward. And it was, a really good demo. It kind of did what it was meant to do, which is to bring these things to light. A lot of people found that the demo itself was also really difficult, which I do agree, but he also mentions that this demo was not meant as a tutorial. Instead, it was meant to be a showcase of the game with as many features as possible, such as CQC with infantry, tank-on-tank action, cruise missiles, and dogfights. But in the final game, there will be tutorial elements that guide you through the mission at first. Now, the missions themselves will gradually also increase in difficulty in the final game, and this mission that we played was kind of like a mid-game mission, or mid-campaign mission. So you were kind of just thrown into the fire and or thrown into the water without any floaties, and you just had to figure out how to swim yourself. By choosing a mission like this, the aim of showing as many game features as possible was really achieved, and people got a good taste of what this game will have in store for us. Many bugs and quality of life tools are missing right now, such as a line of sight tool. Felix said that this tool is planned, it was just not ready for the demo. Also, helicopters and planes were not deploying flares automatically, and this was also a bug. Aircraft will automatically deploy flares when they get fired at, with fire and forget missiles, so no, you won't have to manually deploy flares in the final game, but it'll of course help you a bit more with survivability. Now, a couple of things are already fixed after the demo ended, such as infantry not getting into buildings, fire support vehicles not automatically shooting at infantry in buildings, and many more little things like that. Felix said that these will greatly reduce the micro intensity of the game, while not changing any of the core mechanics. Of course, you shouldn't be, forced to basically micro every vehicle and tell them exactly when to do anything. They should also have like a mind of their own without taking too much power from the player. Now, when asked whether the demo affected the direction the developers are taking Broken Arrow, Felix said that the team was very confident since the general feedback was positive and that the game was moving in the right direction. A ton of things that testers commented on, such as not really understanding the supply system, etc., will all be explained further in tutorials of the game and during the campaign itself. Now, when asked about the next step of this game, the next step in Broken Arrow will be to test multiplayer. This kind of test will be quite different than a solo demo, since even network stability will be on the line here. The next step will be an open beta to let people test the deck creation system as well, and of course multiplayer and network stability will be tested heavily as well, and I'm very excited for this part. Now, when Felix was asked about when this would happen, roughly when this would happen, he said that it would happen sometime during the spring or like early summer, so like May, June, but we'll get a more precise date as development continues. Now, there's a ton of things that need to be fixed and addressed, so let's all just calm ourselves down and give the developers all the time they need to bring Broken Arrow to the next level. With that said, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in and sticking around for all the Broken Arrow videos I've released. And if you want to support the channel, you can become a YouTube member or a patron just like these gentlemen. And with that said, I hope to see you guys back in the next one.